Very good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming, joining this session today, organized jointly by IRF, the University of Nottingham, and Penang Institute. Dr. Heba, Raof, Ezzat, Young, Professor Clive, Kessler, Professor Harlina, Halizah, Siraj, Dr. Farouk, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you for joining us this morning. Roundtable discussion on the topic, Rethinking Secularism in a Globalized Era. We would like to extend our apologies that young Berhormat Nurul Izzah Anwar cannot make for this event. She has been having some emergency situation, so we sincerely apologize for that. We proceed for this event by inviting Dr. Hasman Baharom for the opening speech. So, Professor Zaharom Naim. Thank you.
Good morning. I won't be long since we're already behind time. On behalf of the University of Nottingham, it is an honor and a privilege for me to welcome all of you this morning to this forum, co-organized by the University, Islamic Renaissance Front, and Penang Institute. Today's forum marks yet another collaboration among many between the School of Media, Languages and Culture at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia campus, IRF, and the IRF. We continue collaborating because we genuinely believe in and wholly support the value of the work done by Dr. Ahmad Farouk Musa and his team at IRF. It would seem that the world is moving further and further to the right. There's much conflict and indeed hatred out there, and certainly domestically. While the origins of the disrespect, the intolerance, the hate may be many, it will suffice to say, in the context of this morning's forum, that the term secularism and any attempts at providing secularist views and strategies now are persistently attacked for being contrary to religion, particularly Islam, particularly a particular narrow version of Islam that appears to discriminate against rather than unite. It is a version of the religion that evidently promotes hate and attempts to forge a society that is exclusive, not inclusive. In previous times, in Malaysia's history, short history, such approaches were limited in scope and had little support. Not so evidently today. Today, what we see is the increasing politicization of religion and ethnicity or race by those in power, desperate to cling on to power when scandal after scandal, abuse after abuse, threaten to contribute to the removal of that power. Hence, legitimate dissent is now being redefined as threats to topple not the government only, but one particular individual. Alternative points of view, even a declaration of support for particular communities are met with police reports urging the authorities to investigate. Today's discussion, I hope, will locate secularism and the threats that supposedly secularism provide in a modern society, and the threats against a secularist view, why they predominate at this present moment. Without taking too much more of your time, I would like to declare this discussion, the beginning of this discussion. Yeah, thank you very much.
As we see, the plan for the event is slightly changed. We again apologize for that. But nevertheless, we are very excited. The topic is one of the most debated topics for decades now. Books are being written, conferences are being convened to discuss secularism. Debates and argumentations are going on. So the question is, why cannot we figure it out once and for all? Why the concept of secularism is so complex? The role of religion in our modern societies, why is it so hotly debated? So of course, this roundtable discussion hopefully will be addressing this question. But I would like to say that I think part of the issue is that secularism is a concept, and of course religion is a concept, and other concepts we have and we are debating here today, like modernity, globalization, and so on. These are complex by their very nature, by their very fundamental definition. You talk about secularism. Secularism means different things for different people. Secularism reflects or represents different experience, different historical experience for different people. In Western societies, secularism has been the beacon of light to make possible a public space, a civilized public space, to make people come together and build up a civil state. Because this event today is more like a sequel of the event we had today, is a civil state Islamic. So this kind of forced questions, yes or no, this kind of modern binary logic is what's making the debates on secularism and the debates that we have along these lines very difficult. Because I would like to bring an example. When my daughter was learning English, and she had a few books with a certain list of things, and she was learning the names of each of the things, and besides spelling the names, she would have this tendency to classify or to categorize every single thing into bad, good, good, bad, good, bad. So, of course, after she grew up, she understood that the binary logic is not going to help much, because later on she also learned about junk food and not junk food. So she was saying, oh, this is junk food. I said, no, this is bread and chocolate, so it's not junk food. And then she said, but you said that chocolate is junk. Well, I said too much chocolate is junk. So I guess we have to grow up and qualify certain concepts and certain experiences and try to approach them in a more savory, in a more, how to say, doing justice to these concepts rather than forcing binary logic and rather than forcing questions which actually may give you an answer but is not going to solve anything. So without further ado, I would like to have a few words on our main presenter's background. Dr. Heba Raof Ezzat has graduated and worked at the Department of Political Science in Cairo University for almost 30 years. Within these 3 decades, Dr. Heba has taught courses on contemporary Arab thought, political theory, as well as political Islam. Besides being an academician, a writer, a translator, and a poet, Dr. Heba has been politically active in the home country, namely Egypt, coordinating youth programs and leading public debates. She has published widely on a wide range of contemporary issues, and her latest publications include 2 books in Arabic, Towards a New Civility, and The Political Imagination of Islamists. She has been a visiting scholar and a research attached to many renowned international institutes, including Georgetown University, Oxford Center for Islamic Studies, University of California, London School of Economics, and so on. So, of course, we would like to welcome Dr. Heba, and we express our greatest gratitude for her joining our event. But at the same time, very briefly, on our 2 other presenters, Dr. Clive Kessler, Emeritus Professor of Sociology and Anthropology at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. Professor Kessler has been studying Malay culture since 1960s, I guess. It's been more than half a century. So we welcome Dr. Kessler to join us today. And we also have here with us Dr. Harlina Halizah Siraj, a well-known public speaker and a well-known face in the Malaysian TV and Malaysian radio shows. Professor is actually a professor on ONG and medical education at UKM, but she is also a prominent award-winning Muslim social activist. So I think this is just a brief introduction without doing any justice to the background of the people we have here today. But we would like to start the session by inviting Dr. Heba to present, and in the meanwhile, we will proceed with Q&A later on. Thank you.